What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Justin Ford podcast, where I'll be releasing life-changing principles and valuable information focused on all things faith, finance, family, fitness, real estate, and so much more. Let's go! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Justin Ford Unleashed podcast. Super excited to be with you here again today. I hope you've been doing great since the last episode. If you're loving the show, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can subscribe here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're really loving the show, go ahead and drop us a review and tell us what you love about the show. And if you haven't followed me yet on social media, you can at the official Justin Ford. Again, at the official Justin Ford. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, and also here on YouTube. I got an awesome guest in store for you today that's going to be on the show. But before we get into that, I do want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Nextdoor Lending. Nextdoor Lending is a team of professionals that believe everyone should be treated as if they lived next door. The founders and team members have more than 150 years of combined loan experience, helping clients all over the country choose the best loan program to help you accomplish your goals. Nextdoor Lending is currently licensed in 26 states and has a team of over 100 loan officers specializing in helping you get the best rate and terms. Whether you're looking to refinance your home or you're looking to purchase your next home, call my friends over at Nextdoor Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website over at nextdoorlending.com. Guys, I'm always looking to bring people onto the show here that can add value to you, people who have created success within the real estate space and are just doing things at an absolutely high level. And I'm super honored to have today's guest here in the studio, my friend, my brother in the Lord, and he's a rock star, Barry Jenkins. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Oh, yeah. Look, I'm just happy to be here, happy to share. I love your network and the message that you bring. And yeah, I'm just excited to collaborate and chat with you, buddy.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it for a while because I think we actually first met in person back in January at the Glover Udrich Live Unreal Summit. Yep. And but we had obviously been connected on social media, and ever since we met, I've just felt this connection. I already felt it, before we met, but having an opportunity to spend a few days together and get to know you and continue the path forward, getting to know you even more has just been a blessing. So it's an honor to have you on the show today. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know Barry is a very well-known name in the real estate space. He's not only, a rock star when it comes to production. He's got a top producing team in Virginia Beach with 100 plus real estate agents on the team. But he's also the realtor in residence over at YLOPO. And if you don't know what YLOPO is, you've been sleeping on technology in the real estate industry. And so we're going to talk about YLOPO today and what their technology has to offer. But what I love about Barry, what I love about you, man, is, we've been talking, even before the show about really being resilient in today's, not only in today's market, but just in life, because when you're a producer and you're looking to build things and you're looking to grow things and, you're a dad, I'm a dad, there's a lot going on and life can really just kind of hit you. It really takes, digging deep into to making that happen. So we're going to talk about that today. But first off, I really want people to get to know you because, there's a lot to know about Barry Jenkins. Let's kind of really back up and give people from the start, how long have you been in real estate and how did you get into real estate? And let me say, what were you doing before real estate?
I mean, not much, brother. I started when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 25 years, actually. I flipped my first house when I was 18, and I made in 6 months would have taken me a year managing the shoe store in college.
Wow.
And I just never looked back. And so I've seen a lot of markets. I've gone through a lot of cycles. And, 2008, lost everything. The market crashed. I didn't adapt quickly. I wasn't resilient. I just thought, keep your head down, keep praying, don't make any changes. I had
Yep.
a good, good intentions, but I didn't adapt. And so in 2011, I kind of got another shot. And it's kind of like I use a baseball analogy. You don't know when you're going to get a good pitch, but life teaches you when you do get one, you swing for the fence. You give it
Yes.
everything you have,
Yep.
and that's what I did in 2011. I sold 125 houses that year by myself. No
Wow.
transaction coordinator, no ISA, just me. And look, I'll be candid with you. I was pretty miserable. Like it wasn't the
Right.
quality of life. 10 homes a month on your own. Like it was
Yeah.
hard.
That's nuts.
So I built a team,
Yep.
and that team in 2012 is what kind of catapulted me into this next wave of my career, because I started to leverage myself. Then I started to leverage my agent's time, and that allowed me to start to take on ancillary projects, creative projects, technological projects with Ylopo and several other vendors before them and after them,
Yeah.
and then continue to leverage. And that's what led me to becoming a published author and writing a book, and just like what you're doing with your show and the many other things you're doing. As you begin to build a business, you start to kind of just expand in all areas, and that's pretty much what happened.
I love that because I remember when I started working with Jeff Glover back 10 years ago, I always had all these other ideas of things that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what Jeff always said is, hey, listen, if you get really good at real estate, you'll have many other opportunities that open up that spin off of and out of you being great in real estate. And back then I didn't really understand that because I wanted to do X, Y, and Z now.
Yeah.
And now I see everything that I've done, kind of like what you just said, spun out of that, which is awesome. And so one of the things that I didn't hear you say, maybe you didn't say it on purpose or whatever, but I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
You were also a pastor for a handful of years,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Yeah. So from the age of like 20 to 29, 30, I was a associate pastor and senior pastor of a church.
Wow.
Um, they didn't, it was a smaller congregation. It was like 40, 50 people.
Yep.
They gave me a little bit. It wasn't enough to live off of.
Right.
They were very gracious. I'm not like mad at them or anything like that. But yeah, I did that, and it was amazing. I left
Yeah.
honorably. My son had some health issues, and I just felt like the timing was right.
Yep.
And so yeah, that was a decade of my life was
Wow.
dedicated to the ministry, and
All while
and so
selling
I
real estate.
oh yeah, yeah.
I love it.
So from 2000, and let's see, so I was 20, so that would have been like 2000 to 2009, 2010. So
Yeah.
that period of like the market crashing, having to get new work, right? I had to find work while, supporting my real estate habit through
Yep.
2008 through 2010.
Yep.
But yeah, that decade was devoted to that.
That's awesome. That's one of the things that has really drawn me to you is obviously that you are a brother in the Lord and you're unashamed, right? You're not
Yeah.
ashamed of, your relationship with Christ. You talk about the Lord and a lot of the principles of the Bible in your book. And, God has really given you a platform within our industry and within our space, to be authentically you and to share the gospel. And, even when we were in Orlando together back in January, we do the prayer circle. You were a part of that. You were praying with
Yeah.
us and we were praying
Yeah.
for other agents. And, that's to me, that's one of the things that I really love about you on top of everything else, that makes you so awesome. And so you obviously got to a point where you realize, selling 125 homes a year was not sustainable. And
Mhm.
so you leveraged and created a team, and now you have 100 agents on your team. Now, how do you manage that? Because I mean, selling 125 homes, that's a lot, but managing 100 plus people, obviously takes some leverage. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, look, I'm a big believer that the grass being greener on the other side is a myth. I think there's even a
Yes.
book that's called that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
believe that the grass is greener where you water it.
Amen.
And so for those listening, what I would tell you that is kind of, I think, iterated my business over time and grown it is I'm a big believer on going deep with what I have. So instead of looking for many different things and always the next shiny object or next change, I'm a big believer in examining what I've been blessed with, what I have, and seeing if I can be a good steward of it. If I can take
Yeah.
the things that I have right now and just give it my absolute best. One of my favorite Christmas songs is the Drummer Boy, right? He's like I don't have any money. I've got this drum and I'm gonna play this drum the best that I can. Like it's a really beautiful metaphor for what we have, right?
Yep.
And many people feel we're so aware of our failures, and successful business owners fail just as much as unsuccessful, but
Yep.
success allows you to hide. You have more margin to where people can't see all your
Yeah.
failures. And so
Yep.
um, I would rather, if I could take 5 hours of my time and make $1,000, I would rather work 1 hour and, excuse me, not work at all, or spend 1 hour on that $1,000 project and maybe
Yeah.
make $250.
Right.
Because for me, my time, this is cliche, but my time is very valuable. And
Absolutely.
anything that, if I can trade my ideas for money and get back time, I'm always going to choose that, even if my margins are slim,
Yeah.
than trading my time for money.
Yep.
And so the way that I've structured my business deals is slim margins, right? Because I
Yep.
need really great people around me. I
Absolutely.
need passionate business owners. I need
Yep.
great accounting people, great
Yep.
managers, so
Yep.
that, and I need to pay them accordingly.
Yep.
So I'm always going to be willing to decrease what my profit is for the sake of buying back my time. Because what I do is I set it up, I spin it up like a toy, and
Yeah.
then I let it go. And
Yeah.
then, like with my real estate team, I do 2 calls Monday and Friday. My agents all have a link to training with me one on one for 30
Yep.
minutes. So at any given time, they have access to me.
Yeah.
Um, but but I'm speaking to the group typically,
Yeah. Yep.
and then we have team leaders, much like Moses, right?
Yep.
Moses was overwhelmed, so his father-in-law said, "Look, you can't be the judge of all of these people and their problems. You need to have people under you managing the different segments of people," and that's
Yep.
how we ran the government at that
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so yeah, that's how I do it.
No, I love it. And it's realizing how valuable your time is. And I remember, when one of my real estate coaches, or Kate Simon, she asked me to really break down my income and figure out what my dollar per hour was. And when I
Mm-hmm.
realized how valuable my time was, that's when she began to say, does it really make sense for you to be doing this aspect of your business? And what you just said is key, is being able to pay people for what they're worth, understanding what that buys you back. Because when you're able to free yourself up to do the thing that either makes you the money or opens up other doors or opportunities for you, and you can leverage everything else out, that yeah, even if you got to pull back a little bit on your overall profit to put those additional people and components in place, it's ultimately launching you a lot further down the road for what it is you're ultimately looking to do. And that could be just to have more time or work on other projects. And speaking of other projects, not only, is your team, how many units are you guys doing on average per year?
700 to 1,000. We just
Wow.
bought another brokerage with 30
Yeah.
agents, so we were at 60 agents. So
Yeah.
now we're, with that brokerage acquisition, we've grown a lot. So this
Wow.
year's the first year with all of them.
Yeah. So 700, 800 to 1,000 transactions a year, on top of you being a dad, on top of you being really committed to your fitness and your health right now. But also, and I want to talk about this, is you being the realtor of residence for Ylopo. And that's,
Yeah.
and you've really created some amazing stuff over at Ylopo. For those that do not know what Ylopo is, they're like, why what? Lopo who? Why don't you touch on what Ylopo is, how you got involved, and really where
Yeah.
things are heading with Ylopo, because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool story, man. So I needed leads. Zillow, the cost per lead in 2016 had gone up a lot. And so I needed leads from Google and Facebook. So I paid for a website and marketing for new leads from Ylopo. Well, my team did really well really quickly, and it caught the attention of the owners. And they started to talk to me about training. And so I think I did like 5 hours a week the first month. And within like 90 days, I was doing all their new user onboarding. And it transitioned into 20 hours a week and then 30. And then I was offered a senior executive position in late 2016, early 2017. And people asked me how I knew, because now Wailopo is, if not the leader in all
Yeah.
marketing and technology for real estate agents. It's one of
Yep.
them.
Yep.
And that's, that's not me being biased. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
How
Yep.
did I do it? How did I know? And honestly, Shark Tank, they always talk about that show. They don't invest in products, they invest in people. And
That's
man,
good.
those guys, the owners, they were different. They talked about their customers, us the agents,
Yep.
differently than other owners did. They thought differently, and now, with the growth, the thousands of customers that we have.
Yeah.
Now I spend my day making new products, working on new products, coming up with ideas, coming up with new training, doing webinars, and creating products, and then testing them on my brokerage is one of our laboratories for Wailopo.
Wow.
It's been that
I
way
love
for
it.
almost a decade now.
I love
Not a
it.
decade, maybe 7 years, seven
Yeah.
years and
Yeah.
that journey of teaching people and helping them, and the exposure, much like with you with Glover U,
Yep.
that's actually the reason I wrote the book,
Yeah.
because it taught me to realize that what I was teaching was valuable. And so I'm still there. I'm still working full time at Wailopo, and love every second of it. It's such a challenge and a privilege. Sometimes I'm in rooms with, as we've launched new versions of artificial intelligence, when you're in a room of machine learning, that's what they call them, experts. So
Yep.
engineers that know how to teach robots how to learn, and
Yep.
linguistic specialists, and
Yep.
full stack engineers that can program, and you're just talking to them, it changes you.
Yeah.
And so I've been changed by the group of professionals that I get to work with.
Yep. Which then obviously helps in other areas of your life because you're being exposed to new things, higher thinking and obviously masterminding. It really spins off into so many other ways and areas of your life. And what's awesome is you're not only on staff working with Wailopo full time, like we just talked about, you've got a team of 100 plus agents going to do 800 to 1,000 transactions this year, on top
Mhm.
of being a dad, right? On
Yeah.
top of probably other things you're doing. It's it takes resilience, right? It takes a lot of discipline. It takes being knocked down at times, because I know there's probably people listening like, oh man, what I would give to sell 125 homes a year. Oh, what I would give to be on staff
Right.
of a tech company or sell 800 to 1,000 homes a year. There's a cost that
Yeah.
comes with that. And we know that we're in a market because like you said, you've been in this since you were 18. I've been in the industry for 18 years, selling for 10. We're on a roller coaster ride. And right now, the market's not the best. It's difficult. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
people, I'm sure, that are listening right now that are experiencing the hardship, not only of the industry, but of life. And so let's transition and talk about, resilience and really, because I think you're going to be talking, coming up on stage, at the FUB conference,
Yeah.
and talking about this from a keynote
Yeah.
perspective. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let me just speak to your listeners for a second and just encourage them that, first of
Yep.
all, when things get hard, you're not broken. You don't need to hide in shame or fear. You don't need to be discouraged because things are hard. Um, Facing hard things is a normal part of life. And you hear me talk about all my business successes and all the things that I'm doing wonderfully, and I'm able to very easily filter out all of the really hard things that I've faced over the last 25 years. No different than probably some of the hard things that you faced. The thing for me that I've learned with facing hard things is that when you sit in discomfort, when you decide that you're going to press into the hard thing, not run from it, not back
Mm.
off and give yourself a break, but press into it. So let me give you an example. Well, first of all, when you do that, you grow, right?
Mm,
The body is made this way.
yep.
If you lift the same amount of weight, the same number of reps, you don't grow muscle. You only grow muscle by having muscle failure. And I started working out at a new gym. I was always embarrassed when I couldn't get the weight up that last time, my whole life. And I was at a gym where I was kind of like the most fit guy in the room. And then some friends that their biceps are the size of my head said, "Hey, why don't you come work out with us?"
Yeah.
And it's a gym for professional bodybuilders. So I was like, this is not that long ago. This is maybe 3-4 months ago. I was the scrub of the room, right? The scrawniest, littlest. But what I found fascinating is how they rejoiced over muscle failure. People that I didn't know, when I'm
Mm,
benching and I can't get it up, I'm like, they would help me get it. And then everybody would be like, yeah, good job. That's amazing. I'm so excited. And I realized they had recognized and normalized muscle failure because they see that that's the moment that your muscles get stronger.
mm,
And it's the same way in our life and our business. Okay. It's taking more calls to get someone on the phone right now.
yep.
It's taking more people trying to get approved to find an actual buyer, right? It's taking more prospecting calls to find someone that's interested in selling because they're not worried about the rates or anything like that. This is actually your shot,
Mm,
because most people, when things are hard, they back off, right? They hide. It's hard and they get discouraged. But occasionally there's somebody that walks into the hard thing and doesn't leave. They
mm,
keep pushing. And those are the people that we have on podcasts. Those are the people that we watch and we listen to because we're fascinated that they didn't give up. But what I want to tell everybody is each day is your chance to do that.
yeah.
You don't have to just allow failure to wreck you. You can make failure your teacher.
Mm,
And even with my kids, Justin, like my 6-year-old, he was doing the monkey bars and he said, Dad, he was hanging and he said, Dad, I'm scared. And I try to use all these little moments as teaching moments. I looked him in the eyes. I walked up. I said, I'm here. I said, if you're going to take a chance, his name's Dax. Right now is a great time to do it, Dax. You're 6. The ground's underneath you. I'm behind you. This is a moment in your life that you can, I'm all like high level motivational talking to my 6-year-old
I
hanging up
love it.
because I feel it inside of my bones. It's a fire in my belly. And
Yeah.
he did it. And he took a
Wow.
chance, right? And that's us, man. That's this
Yep.
market right now.
Yeah.
So it's everything to me, man. It's if we'll just accept it as our teacher,
Yeah.
rejoice, find a circle of people that are excited for you when your
Yep.
muscles fail, right?
Yeah.
And help you pick back up the pieces.
I love that because, I often share and talk about how, when people see, other people winning in life, they assume that they're not experiencing hardship because they don't see the hardship behind the scenes. They don't see the difficulty. They don't see, that moment where you're barely getting the bar up. They just see you looking ripped, right? They just see you looking healthy. They don't see the pain. And I always say that there's purpose, in your pain.
Yeah.
And I love how you said it. We have two choices, right? We can either go through the process, go through the hard, go through the pain, or run from it. But what I've also found is if you run from it, there's still pain, right? It might be pain of, failure, pain of, giving up, pain of just staying the same and not really getting where you want to go. But it really starts with that decision that you're going to do this, you're going to go through it. Because if you're listening to this show and you have breath in your lungs, we're all going to experience hardship at some point. You may be coming out of it right now. You might be right in the middle of it, or you might be going into it. And I think we need to expect it, right? There's times where everything just kind of seems like it's clicking and everything seems kind of good. And as humans, we all want that. Nobody wants hardship. Nobody wants muscle breakdown. Nobody wants difficulties. But what I found, and I know Barry, you can touch on this too, is it's in those moments that define you, but it's also in those moments that really propel you ahead and also give you a story, a testimony, and the ability to encourage others.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. And I know for me, my what is the thing? Kryptonite, right? Superman
Yep.
had one weakness. He had
Yep.
kryptonite. And my
Hmm.
weakness is toxic shame and guilt.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this until a year of therapy, but when I feel funny, so I like to think of myself as just a normal man. I'm not necessarily the most in touch with my feelings as maybe some others are. But a year of therapy will change how you view feelings. And so when I feel funny, like I faced a week ago, I felt really funny. I didn't feel right,
Yeah.
and I didn't know why. So I have this routine. When I feel funny, I have one of those really long skateboards. It looks like a longboard surfboard. And I'll
Hmm.
go to the ocean front and I have headphones and I just skateboard and I have noise. The people around me are a blur because I'm going fast. And then I feel the vibration. It silences all my senses. I
Yeah.
jokingly call it skateboarding therapy. I realized while I was doing this that I felt disappointed because an opportunity that I was hoping to obtain, I was turned down.
Mm.
And normally, for feeling disappointment, I would feel shame or guilt, like I'm not good enough, I'm bad. And then that would spiral me into a funk for like a week.
Wow.
But this time, as I'm drowning out the world around me and I figure out that I'm disappointed, I have one of those wheels. I bought them for my kids. They're framed. It's an emotional wheel. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
heard of it, but I feel sad. Why do you feel sad? And it gives you 6 descriptors of sad. And one of the ones I picked was disappointment. Well, why do
Wow.
you feel disappointment? And it gives you 6 descriptors of disappointment. I feel neglected, right?
Mm.
And so then instead of feeling shame for feeling turned down and disappointment, I normalized the hard feeling. I said, you know what? Anybody would feel disappointed right now. It's
Yeah.
okay that I feel disappointed.
Yep.
And it's okay that I was turned down for this opportunity. There's going to be more. Am
Yep.
I saying that like all the hard feelings disappeared instantly? No. But instead of a week long funk where
Wow.
I'm either drinking or smoking or partying or trying to distract myself with television, something to make the pain go away, my main vice is food. Food's always there and it's
Yeah.
pleasurable. And so I would eat.
Mm.
Now I face the disappointment and I'm like, all right, it's cool. Like, I'll be all right. I'll
Yeah.
find another opportunity. So, for those of you that are facing these hard things, I want to tell you to
Yeah.
figure out the hard feeling, get an emotional wheel. And what you'll find is you'll get over the hump faster, which will then help you. Like, and I'm not exaggerating, 3 days after that little excursion of figuring out disappointment and struggle, I got the opportunity of my life. Like, I'm not
Wow.
going to talk about it right now, but I got this like huge, right, that I probably would have missed had I
Wow.
still been in my funk. So it's all
Wow.
about just, I love the Rocky movies, man. He would get pummeled, and the count would be 8, 9. He would just get back up.
Right on nine.
So
Yep. I love
yeah,
it. I love it. And I'm glad that we're talking about the real stuff here because again, people that maybe follow you or know you and see the success you've created or, same thing for me is like it's a journey and it's a process and you can either press into it and learn how to do it and learn how to figure it out or like you said, let it win. And I have a counselor right now and he's teaching me the same things and I love what you said because we feel like because we feel a certain way because of something triggered it, like we feel like something's wrong with us. And when you
right.
can dig deeper and when you have the ability to work through it, it doesn't negate the feelings, but like you said, if it can take you from a week of shame and guilt and struggle to one day, and then you're able to work through it, it just causes you to get better and better. And gosh, I know that we could go, so much deeper on this. And I know there's so much more, we could talk about, but, and I'm definitely going to bring you back on the show if you'd be willing to come
I'd
back
love
on the
to.
show. But real quick, how can people get a hold of you, Barry? If they want to learn, more about you, buy a copy of your book, follow you on social media, how can people get a hold of you?
My website is tooniceforsales.com. My Instagram is real Barry Jenkins, REAL Barry BARRY Jenkins, and those are the two best ways to reach me.
Awesome. Guys, if you do not know Barry, now you do. And I highly recommend go follow Barry, go grab a copy of his book, and definitely connect with him. And if you want to know more about YLOPO and how this technology can help you in your business, you can actually find a link below that will allow you to set up a just a free demo of what YLOPO can do for your business. I've been using YLOPO now for a little over a year, and it has taken our business to the next level, created many opportunities for us. And so if you want to know more about it, you can click on the link below. Barry, thank you so much for joining us today, man. I love
pleasure.
you as a brother, man. I appreciate
Same.
you, and congrats on all the success. And thanks again so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks, Justin.
Absolutely. So guys, if you loved the episode, do me a favor, share it with some colleagues, some friends, some family. Definitely go follow Barry. And if you haven't followed me yet on social media, you can at the official Justin Ford. Again, you can find me on all the social media platforms. Feel free to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. And guys, if you love the show, leave us a review. Tell us how you love it. Before I let you go, this podcast and this episode is brought to you by my friends over at Next Door Lending. Again, this is not just a sponsor. These are this is our lender team. We send our buyers. We use Next Door Lending to help our buyers get pre-approved, and they're great. Over 600 5-star reviews, a perfect A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If you're a buyer and you need to get pre-approved, call my friends over at Next Door Lending. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for a great lender partner, they're in 26 states. Call my friends over at Next Door Lending. And if you're a homeowner and you want to get some equity and you want to do a cash out refinance or a regular refinance, call my friends over at Next Door Lending today at 888-885-3667 or visit their website at nextdoorlending.com. Two things I always love to leave you with at the end of the show. Number one, it's not how you start. What matters is how you finish. And number two, with God, all things are possible. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.